Hi, it's Joe here from Joe's Country Junction, and I'm so happy that you could join me today. I'm going to try to show you how I cut linen. You want to keep your linen squares if you possibly can, and this is the way I've found that I do it. So here goes. I'm working on my A Changed World sampler. It's a piece from the Scarlet House, and so I need to get it squared up so that I can get it framed. And so I usually just leave about 2 inches, and this is close enough for me. It should be just fine. So with me today, I have a sharp small scissors and I have a seam ripper. I went approximately 2 inches or 1.5 inches or so out here, and I pulled one thread, just one thread, and I didn't really pull it. I just kind of got it up enough so that the thread would break. And then I took my scissors right through here, and I did just a little bit of cutting, not very much at all, enough that I could get one thread pulled loose. And so you can see I have that one thread here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a, like you would if you're gathering. So I pull the thread and I work it this way to try to get that thread to release on the other side. And so I just keep going, and you can see my thread is coming with me. It's coming in my right hand, and you'll have to forgive my fingernails. My childcare kids were here and they did my fingernails, and they're kind of a mess, and part of it's coming off. And yeah, this is just me on a regular day. So here is, you can see that that line and the thread is pulling out. And so now this will be, you can see the line that was formed from doing that. And then you can take your scissors and you can just cut on that line like that. And then your linen will be squared. And I can finish that later when I can use my big scissors and cut that. But that gives you an idea of how to do it. So then now we have to do this direction. So we need to cut it off this direction. I'm going to actually cut just a tiny bit more here. I'm super frugal, so I want to keep as much linen as I can over here on this side so that I can use this to stitch some smalls on. And so I want linen on this side, but I need linen here to finish this piece off and to make that work. So over here, I'm just going to make just a couple more stitches, just about that much more. I'm being super careful to cut right in line with the other linen. Now I'm going to make a cut going this direction. And my goal is to try to make enough of a cut. It's hard for me to see because I can't get this close enough to my eyes with the camera in the way. Okay, so now I have this thread loose. See, I could pull that, and then now that thread is loose. So I'm going to do the same gathering that I did before. But I'm going to end up with a little bit of a problem because you can see up here I have the selvage. But I'm going to pull a little bit and just get it started. So you just do a gathering like this. And what I'm going to end up doing up here is I am just going to just guesstimate and make a snip up here. And I'm going to just cut the selvage off because I really don't need the selvage for the smalls that I'll be making. So I'm just going to cut that off. Come over here, make a couple more. So that should be able to, oops, I didn't cut deep enough. I should be able to cut and get that loose at the top. Then I'm going to go back down here where I was, and I'm going to continue to pull this. You can see that it's starting to go further and further in that direction. And that means that thread will, this one string of the weave will get loose. It's really not hard. I'm making it look a lot harder than it is just because I'm trying to video it. Oh, and then my thread broke. Darn it. Okay, so this is a good thing, I guess, because then I can show you. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut up and hopefully find my thread. It looks like it's right in here where it broke off. So I'm going to cut very carefully along there, and I'm going to get this thread. This is our thread that broke off. I'm going to get that loose. Then I'm going to start the whole process again of, oh, I might have to take a couple more snips right next to it. I hope I got it. We'll see. Nope. This is like terrible to do because I can't see very well because I can't get it close enough to my face. Blah. Okay. Let's see if we can get it. I'm really making this a lot harder than it actually is. And I don't have my readers on. It'd be much better if I had my reading glasses on. Okay, there it's starting a little bit. I just need to get a better hold on the thread. And as I work it, I will. This usually doesn't take very long at all. But we're working towards this end, so we just keep pushing those wrinkles or those gathers to the edge. There, there's my thread. It just came out just like that. And that's typically what happens. It feels like the thread doesn't come and doesn't come and doesn't come, and then it suddenly releases. So, okay. Then you can see the line that you need to trim on. And then your linen will be square. And hopefully I'm cutting this on the line because I can't see past my camera. Someday I'll figure out a good way to do demonstrations. I don't know. Apparently it's not today because I should have had my big scissors here with me as well. So there you can see we got that side released. And now we'll come over here and I'll just cut on this line with my little snippy scissors. And we almost have it. Yay! Just like that. Okay, so now I have all of this linen left over. When I buy linen, I usually buy in a 1/4 yard cut, because most pieces finish on a 1/4 yard cut, and then I take all of this linen and I'll use this to make smalls. And then here is my piece all released. While I'm here, why don't I show you typically what I do for ironing. And so ironing, I am a fan of this. I use this spray starch. I just get it from Walmart. It's nothing fancy. I don't soak my pieces. I know a lot of you are going to have a fit, but I don't use a pressing cloth. You sure can if you want to, but I just lightly spray mine like I am here. And then I take a clean iron, and with my clean iron, I just iron my piece. If you want to be super careful, you could use a pressing cloth if you wanted. I'm just not that picky. And to date, I mean, I look at my iron to see how my iron is before I go and iron anything. And I usually only, I don't know, 99.999% of my ironing is done on cottons or linens. So I don't get a bunch of plastic goobery stuff on my iron. I don't do a lot of interfacing sewing, so I don't get a lot of goobery stuff on my iron either. But if you want to be careful, you can just throw pressing cloth over the top of this before you iron. I just make sure I keep moving my iron, and I do use that spray starch, and then it turns out pretty nice and clean. I'm super happy with this piece. As I was stitching along, I got the thread that they suggested, and I'm this much short of the black that I need for this. So I'm waiting for the thread to come in the mail, and then after that, this will be a finished piece. But in the meantime, I've got it trimmed off, and I will soon be ready to frame this. And again, this was a Changed World by the Scarlet House, and it is done on vintage Meadow Rue from Lakeside Linen, and I did the conversion kit from Country Stitches, and that's what I know about this. So if you ever want to trim your linens, I hope now you know, and if you ever want to know how to iron, that's how I iron. So thanks so much, and join me again another day. Bye.